Okay, well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the First Fridays Black History Month celebration and showcase. My name is Warren Salmon. I'll be the MC for the night. It's really a pleasure to have such a great lineup tonight and a great audience. We're looking forward to a great evening. But before we begin, would like to start off by doing the land acknowledgement. So we'd like to begin by recognizing that wherever we're logging in from today, we're located on the traditional territories of Indigenous people dating back time memorial. We acknowledge this land, the people, and the treaties in place here because the first step to reconciliation is recognizing the first peoples of this land and our relationships and mutual responsibilities. And hundreds of years after the treaties were signed, they're still in practice today. The power and potential of land acknowledgements allows us to connect with the very rich history of this region and make it clear that where there were first peoples who lived here prior to Confederation and who we now work with in stewardship to manage these lands with respect for Indigenous customs and ways. And I'd also like to do an ancestor acknowledgement. We'd like to acknowledge the African ancestors, those indigenous to the African continent. It's important to acknowledge the generations of people of African descent who were forcibly brought to this land and displayed around the world and displaced around the world as a result of the transatlantic slave trade. We want to acknowledge the historical and contemporary resilience of Black people of the African diaspora as they have continued to unequivocally resist oppression, demand for social justice, to dismantle oppressive practices, systemic and institutional racism, and make incredible contributions to our society, serving as examples of excellence and inspiration. We pay tribute to their sacrifice. And that's very fitting for this being Black History Month, and it's great that we're all able to come together for this event. So, I want to thank everyone for coming out tonight. Again, we do have quite a great lineup. We'll be hearing from about 8 dynamic presenters. Following that, we also have some breakout rooms. So we'll be hearing from the folks who will be hosting those rooms as well. And we're adding actually a networking room for this month as well. So really in for a great evening. But I'd like to start off by inviting our first speaker. He's Vice President of Social Impact and Innovation at RBC. He's been, coming to First Fridays for it's almost 20 years now. I actually first met him in 2002 when he came out with Mr. John Tory, who was campaigning for mayor, almost 20 years ago. And but he's been coming to First Fridays ever since, and happy to be able to call him a good friend and to really watch the great work that he's been doing ever since. So, without further ado, I would like to welcome Mr. Mark Beckles to the stage. Hey, Mark, the floor is yours. Mark?
Yeah, thank you, Warren. I was just unmuting myself. I thought you were going to unmute me. Nonetheless, thank you so much for having me. It is so good to be with us all this evening, celebrating Black History Month. And as has been the practice for many a year now, we know that it is Black History Month when we have our first Friday's kickoff event, kickoff celebration, where we get together and really reflect on the wonderful history that is ours. I also want to thank you for your kind comments. The introduction, and I'm reminded that the journey that I've been on and any success that I have had is truly linked to many of the relationships that are present on this event this evening, and certainly presenting with me this evening. So I consider a particular honor. like yourself, Warren, I also want to acknowledge the enduring presence of Indigenous peoples connected to and on the land that I live on, and I'm grateful for the opportunity to live and work here in this territory, even as I commit myself to the work reconciliation with Indigenous peoples. I'll start by saying that I think we know that Black history and Canada's history are inextricably linked, and that Canada and Black people have been on a journey together long before the country as we know it today existed. Um, our journey has not been an easy one, and it has been made harder in many respects because it was and remains customary and fashionable to exclude our recorded historical contributions from the record, and therefore our people for generations have not known the opportunity to celebrate and recognize the impact of Black Canadians to the very foundations of this country. And it is hard for people to replicate the examples that they cannot see or that they cannot learn about. And it is why we too often have taken our inspiration from our African American cousins to the South, quoting their historic contributions ad nauseum, or where we as Black Canadians have relied on examples in Africa or Caribbean or in the Caribbean to propel us forward, even though Canada has always had its own homegrown stalwarts of civil rights going back decades. It's why we feel that despite best efforts at social inclusion, one step forward seems to result in two steps backward, where we are reliving old issues and struggles that so many before us fought so valiantly to overcome. Whether we've surrendered or abdicated, whether we're still just gathering by the riverside, or we're just waiting to be gifted, or waiting for Neverland, I don't know. Whether we're waiting on civil society to be civil, you know I don't know. Nothing of the unparalleled strain that COVID-19 has inflicted on the Black community in this last short while. But what I do know is that beyond here and beyond now requires us to do things very differently than we have done in recent times, and to rise to the moment in spite of the historical challenges that we have had, and in spite of present challenges that we do have. And we need to do that if we are to appropriate our fair share of this Canadian franchise. I believe that we have to reignite the spirit of Carrie Best and Lulu Anderson and Charles Daniels and Viola Desmond and Rosemary Brown and Zanena Conde and Jean Augustine, Bromley Armstrong, Stanley Grizzle, Bev Salmon, your mom, Warren, just to name a few people. Beyond here and now means that we have to fully understand the opportunities that are staring us in the face, all that our progenitors fought for to bring us to this place so that we would know what to do when we arrived at this place. Their lesson to us was not that of waiting, but that of taking. And by taking, I mean taking our rightful place in society. Beyond here and now means exacting our individual and collective influence and acting in the best interest of the whole. Notwithstanding that we are not a monolith, if the perception is that we are a monolith, then we must seize the advantages and opportunities that lay in that perception, no matter how misplaced that perception may be. Beyond here and now means building and renewing and restoring a sense of community anchored in a common belief that we are each other's keepers, and that our success is not individual, nor is it selfish. That we didn't arrive here by ourselves, nor do we stand on our own shoulders, and that we are compelled by a higher purpose toward a different destiny. Beyond here and now means responding to the zealotry of dark forces that would push us back on our heels at the first opportunity in order to relegate us to our former place on the social ladder. Because in the minds of some, we never truly left that place and should have never left that place. But I say to them that the unprecedented representation of Black people in business, whether big or small, or in politics, or in education, or media and entertainment, or policing, says different. And speaking of zealotry, many of you are likely aware of the challenges facing our good friend Peter Sloly in Ottawa, Chief Peter Sloly. Imagine being a Black police chief in the nation's capital, being confronted by fascism and racism and bigotry under the guise of freedom. And let's just keep Peter in our thoughts and prayers as he manages through an unprecedented situation. But I would also say that beyond here and now means understanding that freedom is not free, but it is a promissory note to those who work to preserve it. Beyond here and beyond now means leveraging more effectively our voices and our impact and our influence in the places that we occupy with clear and unintended and unmistakable outcomes. I've been buoyed by the emergence of the Black Opportunity Fund and the Black North Initiative, by the Black Capital Fund, and I've been encouraged by the resurgence of organizations like the BBPA, Group 3737, First Fridays, the Black Business Initiative, and Tropicana, and others that are facilitating our aspirations and are better positioned than ever before to live up to their respective missions. And beyond here and now means that throngs of young Black talent benefit from programs by like Black professionals in tech, by TechSpark, by Visions of Science, by Black Boys Code, community programs led by community individuals, interventions that are accelerating Black talent in the tech space. Beyond here and now means finding common points of understanding with friends and allies outside our community versus drawing hard lines in the sand for lonely are those individuals and those communities who have no friends. Overrepresentation in the justice system and underrepresentation on Bay Street will only be disrupted with the goodwill of friends and allies. Our community has been at an intersection since May of 2020, but let's be clear, it's a different version of the same intersection that we have been in for a while. And despite all that I have said previously, my concern is that, we may have settled in that intersection a little bit. That the inhumanity of May the 26th that forged what some have described as artificial consensus on social inclusion has lulled us into a paralyzing academic and circular conversations versus concrete actions that we must all take. The where to from here conversation is the one that we need to have. More capital, more money, more programs only matters to the extent that we are moving out of the intersection. To be honest with you, sometimes I fear that we are sprinting in inches rather than in miles, dreaming big dreams, but reaching out with one hand, arguing principles, but not living up to them. Many would be surprised to learn that in the last decade, over 5 billion, and I want you to think about that for a second, $5 billion was pledged towards supporting diversity and inclusion initiatives in North America by governments and businesses alike. But of that $5 billion, $2.5 billion of that was pledged since May 2020, less than 2 years. There is unprecedented access to capital, and women of color in particular are outpacing men in starting new businesses. And the war for Black talent and Black creativity is real, but we're not optimizing the opportunity effectively. We see this within our organization because we understand where the demand is coming from. And that's one of the reasons why, in 2020, RBC announced our action plan to address issues of inequity and systemic bias. And in our action plan, we made a 5-year commitment of $100 million to fund small businesses and small business loans to Black entrepreneurs in order to make and to enable their growth and pathways to prosperity, through enabling inclusive access to capital, providing access to a network of experts and mentors and business planning resources, and thirdly, bringing together community leaders. And we've engaged so many over this past year, but community leaders to support and amplify opportunities and profile the successes of Black-owned businesses. And as part of that broader program, we are focusing on recruiting Black talent to the organization. We've committed to targets to ensure that we see greater representation in the most senior levels of the organization. And again, all part of delivering on what we feel needs to be a real focused, intentional strategy to enable greater inclusivity and equity in the workplace. I would say that there's never been a more pressing and more urgent moment than now. Not because of the tragedy of May 2020, but rather because of the opportunity that it presented. And I know that sounds harsh to say it, but it is an opportunity nonetheless to galvanize on our issues, harnessing all of our talents and capabilities and resources, our history and our presence to make ourselves known. I would say to us that we shouldn't let it be said that we who could didn't. Rather, let it be said that we built on the legacy of those who've gone before us for the sake of the generations to come. We are the stalwarts of their future, and we must do everything that we do with them in mind. Let it not be that our sons and daughters are exiles in their own land because our generation missed the moment. And so when I think about beyond here and beyond now, everything that I'm focused on and everything that we're focused on is with that next generation. Sure, we will have successes and sure, we will have challenges, but it is our resilience and our determination that will move us forward. And so that, Black History Month is not going to be relegated to the month of February. It is going to be 12 months of the year because it is a lifestyle, it is a way of life for us, that we are appropriating our franchise. We're taking advantage of opportunities. We're leaning on each other. We're standing on each other's shoulders. We are networking. We are, we are moving forward arm in arm as best as we can. We're challenging the issues that come in our way, the obstacles that are put in our way, and even if we have to scratch at them with our nails and to move them out of our way, let's continue to make that happen. And I will say that as I close, I am so incredibly proud, Warren. I may be stealing your thunder here, but I'm so incredibly proud of Robert Small, who was made or appointed to the office of the Order of Canada, and I don't know that the investiture has happened yet, but I'm hoping, Robert, that we can take a contingent of our community in Ottawa to celebrate you as that medal is pinned on your chest. You have done so much to remind us of our great history, and I congratulate you on your recognition. And with that, Warren, I will turn it back to you.
Okay, thanks so much, Mark. And we'll be getting to Mr. Small a bit later, but I echo your thoughts on that. So thanks very much, Mark. Now, our next presenter is the Director of Operations at Art Experiential Projects and Executive Creative Director of the DLM Group of Companies. He's also the founder of the Black Diamond Ball. I'm proud to say that he's been coming out to First Fridays since he first started, and so we're happy to have him here with us again tonight. But I'd just like to start off by showing a video before we bring him on.
The signature gala event of Black History Month is coming to your home. The Black Diamond Ball is virtual on Hopin, February 26th at 7 p.m. and tune in to City TV, February 27th at 5 p.m. Hosted by R&B singer Sean Jones and reality star Auntie Gillian, with electrifying performances by Soul Sessions, Dominique Grant, Jax, and skating sensation Elage Balde. Let's all celebrate together. Info at blackdiamondballto.com, supported by Rogers Communications Inc., presented by Art Experiential Projects.
Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Sean Cuffey.
Hello. Thank you so much, Warren. We may have to play that video again at the end because I think there was no video. There was only audio on that. But again,
you guys couldn't see it?
No, it was only the audio on that.
Okay, all right.
No
Just let me know when you want me to play it again.
Okay, beautiful. So everyone, happy Black History Month to you all. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Sean Cuffey. Again, I am the executive producer of the Black Diamond Ball. And I just want to tell you guys a little bit about how the Black Diamond Ball started. So about 7 years ago, I had a vision that, there's a lot of events going on in the city of Toronto and even around Canada. And yes, there's a lot of Black History Month events as well, but there's not enough events happening and not enough events that show us in a great light. So yes, there are a few, but there needs to be a lot more. So I was trying to figure out a place where I can bring everyone together as a community to make sure we have a place to celebrate and a place to come together, a place where we can see growth in each other, a place where we can remember where we came from and we can say, yeah, you know what, this person's doing a great job and I want to be at that place as well. So I decided to come up with this event called the Black Diamond Ball. Throughout the Black Diamond Ball, there's many things that happen. We have workshops leading up to the Black Diamond Ball. We have a marketplace leading up to the Black Diamond Ball. So these kind of events are sponsored by great organizations such as RBC, Puma, Rogers Communications, Inc., C. Clothier, FKB Media, MHC, Inc. There's a lot of companies that are here and supporting us to create these events, and hopefully they'll stay with us for a while to make these events a lot bigger. During the Black History Month, we want to extend this year. We want to extend the ball this year, and we want to go all the way till August. So from now, we have workshops and a marketplace happening now until the end of February. But beyond February, we're going to have a marketplace happening until August the 1st, where we plan on having a live cocktail event for the ball, because we've missed 2 years of in-person events with the Black Diamond Ball. So we want to make sure that you guys mark that date. It's going to be August 1st, 2022, and hopefully you guys come out and join us. I want to make sure and have a call to action for you guys. So I'm going to mention it a couple of times throughout my talking here. Follow us at blackdiamondballto.com. So on that website, you'll be able to shop the marketplace. So we have uploaded some businesses. And also, if you're a small business owner and you're interested in us posting up your small business and promoting your small business through our platforms, please, again, reach out to us. Go on to blackdiamondballto.com, send us a message, send us an email at info@blackdiamondballto.com. All right. So again, the ball started 7 years ago. I created that place for us to all come together. It's a high school reunion. It's a place for us to celebrate each other and where we are now. So, for 2 years, we have not been able to gather in person, and we are now going for a second year on TV and virtually. So we are virtual this year on Hopin. And again, to find out where to get your tickets, again, to go on to blackdiamondballto.com. So the ball will be taking place on the last Saturday of February. So we are always on the last Saturday of February. So it's February 26th at 7:00 p.m. on Hopin. And we will be televised on City TV across the nation on the 27th, and that's at 5:00. So we tell you guys, please join us. Please join us and check out what we've done at the ball. We've put together a dynamic production with some great artists. The ball is about promoting Black talent, Black businesses, Black artists of all kinds, and we want you guys to make sure to come out to support, and we really hope that you guys shop online. And I'll tell you guys, every year I shop throughout the year, I shop Black businesses. Black History Month, I do a little bit extra shopping with Black businesses. So please support the small businesses, as we need to do that more than ever this year, and support our artists. So you can support the artists by coming out to the Black Diamond Ball and watching the show and commenting and all that wonderful stuff. Next, if you guys have questions on the Black Diamond Ball and you want more information on us, please, you can email us directly at info@blackdiamondballto.com, and you can find out much more information about us there. RBC Marketplace, one more time, so blackdiamondballto.com. You can go onto the marketplace, shop small businesses. The workshops, we have 6 more workshops. We just had a workshop yesterday. Workshops are every Tuesday and Thursdays at 7:00. Okay, Tuesdays and Thursdays at 7:00. So our next workshop is real estate. So if you're into real estate, so some people know that I'm very into real estate. I have a number of properties, and I've encouraged quite a bit of people who attend the Black Diamond Ball to invest in real estate. So I think I got like 11 people this year alone who invested in real estate. So please join us on Tuesday at 7 o'clock. Again, the information is on blackdiamondballto.com, and learn about real estate. And if you guys are interested in more information about real estate, we'll post it up there so we can help you guys out and give you guys some ideas of how you can invest and such. So in a nutshell, that is it. The Black Diamond Ball this year, it will be hosted by reality star Auntie Jillian and R&B singer Sean Jones. Again, February 26th is our virtual show. We have great artists such as Juno Award winner Tomi. She's a singer-songwriter as well. We have Dominique Grant, who's our Blue Mermaid. She's an amazing vocalist as well. Elijah Valdez, he is a fantastic skater. And we have, of course, one of our favorites, Soul Sessions. So please come out, check us out. It'll be a great show. We put together a great production. If you guys saw us last year, we stepped it up a little bit. And everybody's a headliner this year. We have an all-Canadian crew and cast, and we hope to see you guys all there. And you know what? We're looking forward to it. Again, thank you to FKB Media for supporting us and connecting us with a lot of the talent that we've worked with and pushing out our information. And thank you to all of our sponsors. And thank you, Warren, for this platform of having us here today to present. And everyone, please check out blackdiamondballto.com for more information. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Sean. I don't know if you can post some of those, like the website and email in the chat. I'm going to try again to share the screen and do the video again. We'll try that again.
Fantastic.
The signature gala event of Black History Month is coming to your home. The Black Diamond Ball is virtual on Hopin, February 26th at 7 p.m. and tune in to City TV, February 27th at 5 p.m. Hosted by R&B singer Sean Jones and reality star Auntie Jillian, with electrifying performances by Soul Sessions, Dominique Grant, Jax, and skating sensation Elijah Valdez. Let's all celebrate together. Info at blackdiamondballto.com, supported by Rogers Communications Inc., presented by Art Experiential Projects.
All right.
There we go.
There we have it. All right, Sean. So thanks so much, Sean, for coming out again, and always a pleasure, and look forward to seeing you at the ball.
My pleasure. See you at the ball.
All right. All right. Now, our next presenter is a gentleman who's doing a lot of great work at one of the largest community organizations in the city. It's actually been around for over 40 years, and he is the executive director of the Tropicana Community Services, and he's here to talk about Tropicana, making history in the everyday Black lives. Please welcome Raymond Geist to the stage.
Good night, everybody. And thank you, Warren. It's such a pleasure to be here tonight in this virtual room with all of you. I'm always inspired when I get to be in a room of Black excellence like this, and at every First Friday event that I've been to, I'm always inspired. It's always inspiring to be in the presence of Black excellence. Can everybody still hear me? Sorry,
Yep.
I got shifted over into one of the breakout rooms again.
You're good. You're good.
But yeah, just great to be here. So Warren, just wanted to thank you for inviting me tonight, and of course to the rest of your Toronto First Fridays team. You are working behind the scenes to make all of this possible. As Warren said, the truth is that Black history is made every day. Black history is made every day in the lives of ordinary Black people who face and overcome extraordinary barriers. And at Tropicana Community Services, we've been delivering one of our core programs, which is culturally appropriate clinical counseling. And our culturally appropriate programs and the work that we do, they all exist. And Tropicana exists to support those courageous individuals as they try and navigate the challenges of everyday life. As Warren said, Tropicana Community Services is the largest Black-led and Black-serving charity and human services organization in Canada. Actually, Sandra, you can take that down. You can take the slide down. I'm not going to need them just yet. We've over the last 40 years, and Tropicana is actually a piece of Black history. Over 40 years ago, our founders, Robert K. Brown and Dr. Robert K. Brown and Derek McLennan, two Jamaican men who saw a need in Scarborough, a great need among Black youth. And so the inaugural program of Tropicana Community Services over 40 years ago was a counseling program for at-risk and Black youth. And over the last 40 years, Tropicana has grown to where we are now a multi-site, multi-service agency delivering over 30 programs out of our 4 sites for children, youth, young adults, and seniors. We have 2 daycares in South Scarborough, our employment center in North York, and our headquarters where I am standing and where I hope to take you on a bit of a virtual tour of the site, because I still run into people, even after 40 years of delivering our services here. We receive funding from every level of government, and I still run into people after 40 years in Scarborough who will tell me, I've never heard of Tropicana. And so that's one of the things that since becoming ED, I've targeted to fix. And so certainly raising our visibility. And so again, just grateful to be here tonight to talk to all of you. I'll share a bit about what it is we do, what it is we're planning, and then how you can somehow be involved. It'll be a bit of a call to action. But again, just thinking of Black history and our community as a people, the people that our organization is dedicated to serving. There have been, we know that there have been barriers constantly thrown up in our way, barriers to success for the Black community. And some of those barriers lie outside the community. We face systemic discrimination and exclusion. We know that these barriers and obstacles are real. And so there's a narrative, a biased narrative that certainly exists outside the Black community. And those are also to some degree outside our direct control. We have sort of an indirect influence over those barriers. And but there are some significant ones that we know still lie within the community that we have to address and deal with. And some of the most powerful solutions to dealing with and overcoming them are therefore to be found and actualized among us and within us. And therefore, now more than ever before, they are more directly within our control. And so Tropicana, part of Tropicana's mission, our goal is to build Black human capital. We are taking aim at root cause solutions to the issues that Black people in our community face across the country. And we're taking aim at solutions that will drive change at the population level to produce better life outcomes, multi-generational life outcomes over time. Because it is now that we as people of African and Caribbean descent must take control. We now must take that control of our stories, control of our narrative, control of our image, control of our careers, and control of our destiny. And our destiny is to live in harmonious cooperation with our community counterparts, to sit at tools presented to us right here in this hemisphere, as well as those of the global village we now live in, for our advantage and advancement. And we just can't do that unless we are strong. We can't do that unless we are building and securing a critical mass within successive generations of youth who will grow to be adults, who will grow to become the leaders and captains of industry and society in the future. And we need our young people to not only we need to instill in our young people the message to not just pursue the goal of being the first Black person to do a thing. The kind of leadership that we want to instill in them here at Tropicana is to just go ahead and be the first person to do a thing, the first person ever to do a thing. And this is the kind of leadership that we want to inspire through our youth development programming in our young people as we seek to lead them into the future. So we know that oppression, we know that exclusion, we know that the generational trauma that has been wrought upon people of African descent. And as people of African descent, I do think we know a thing or two about marginalization, right? That is certainly my tongue in my cheek, but sometimes levity is our best ally in coping with hard realities. First responders do it, doctors do it, and Black people must do it. Because dealing with trauma is just no easy thing. We see it in our clinical counseling practice every day here at Tropicana. We see the damage that is being wrought upon lives, whether it's through discrimination, harassment, issues faced in the workplace, anti-Black racism. Dealing with trauma is no easy thing. And dealing with generational trauma, even less so. And generational trauma coupled with persistent exclusion and discrimination, even less. But nevertheless, we can look back at our history and have hope, because Black people as a group have made the greatest gains over some of the highest hurdles in the shortest periods of time than any other racial group in the history of mankind. And we at Tropicana want to be the builder of Black human capital, the builder of bridges between people, establishing linkages where trust can be built, and where necessary, rebuilding bridges where trust has been lost. And so we cannot stop now. We must press forward, and we must press forward together. And so lastly, I just want to talk about another piece of Black history that we at Tropicana have been making over the last number of years. Tropicana has become one of the founding organizations within the Canadian Black Intermediary Network through the Supporting Black Canadian Communities Initiative funded by the federal government. And Tropicana, through that program, is now overseeing and funding and supporting over 100 Black-led grassroots not-for-profit organizations across Canada. And so one of our goals is to increase, one of our strategic objectives is increasing our reach and impact at a national level. We are making investments here at Tropicana into building the digital infrastructure that will be necessary for us to be able to do the data remediation and data gathering, collection, and analysis that will be necessary to share within our community, but also to be able to drive evidence-based outcomes and program interventions that will be important to drive conversations at policy tables where decisions are made that affect our lives. And so we cannot stop now. We must press forward, and we have to press forward together. So I will just leave everyone with this quote. Actually, before I do that, I'm going to share a bit about how you can get involved. We are running a number of community of practice sessions between now and the end of the year with these over 100, our network of over 100 Black-led and Black-serving organizations across the country. And part of our mandate through the SBCCI program is to ensure that as funding is flowing to the Black community and to these organizations, that we also are including Black businesses in our supply chains and in the process of doing the work among those organizations. So I just want to invite you to get to know Tropicana. You can visit us at www.tropicanacommunity.org to have a look around. If you've not heard of us before, have a look around, get to know us. If you don't know and haven't heard of Tropicana, I invite you to visit us at www.tropicanacommunity.org and get to know the new Tropicana. So if you've known us before, get to know the new Tropicana. If you haven't heard of us before, get to know us for the first time and learn how you can get involved. You can sponsor some of these sessions that we are having among organizations across the country, and we're getting set to double that number in the next few months as we make some new funding announcements based on the second call for proposals that we've just closed. And now a quote from Booker T. Washington that I want to leave you with. No race has anything to contribute to the markets of the world is long in any degree ostracized. It is important and right that all privileges of the law be ours, but it is vastly more important that we be prepared for the exercise of these privileges. That's Booker T. Washington. And so that is what I want to leave you with. And just thank you again, Warren, for inviting me tonight. It's been such a pleasure seeing everyone here on the call tonight. Have a great weekend and happy Black History Month.
Oh, thanks so much, Raymond. And keep up the great work. You know, it's great to see that Tropicana, you know, continues to grow and evolve over the years. And, you know, I've had really the pleasure of, you know, working with the organization over the years. And so I really want to thank you and the team at Tropicana for all the great work that you're doing in the community.
Thank you.
Much. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Now, our next presenter is here actually with CIBC, which is one of First Friday's newest sponsors, and we're very happy to partner with them on their community outreach. And you know, they just had a big announcement this week, and they have some big announcements coming up. So I would like to welcome Mr. Kevan Edwards, who's a senior business consultant of Inclusive Client Strategy, to talk about the CIBC Black Entrepreneurship Program. Over to you, Kevan.
Hi there, Warren. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for having me tonight. Happy Black History Month to everyone. Really happy to be partnering with you on First Fridays and to get the opportunity to stand on this platform with all of the distinguished speakers who have spoken before and those who will speak after. I think Mark really kicked us off with a lot of food for thought and gave a bit of an introduction to the topic I'm going to talk about. Warren mentioned that there was a large announcement from CIBC. This week, coinciding with Black History Month, we announced the kickoff of our Black Entrepreneur Program. What that is funds dedicated towards Black entrepreneurs. But beyond the funding, it is meant to partner with different community organizations, nationally, regionally, all over Canada, to identify opportunities to find entrepreneurs, give them the opportunity to access funding. As Mark mentioned, there's been over $5 billion pledged towards initiatives like this. And we need to understand what is changing about initiatives. We've seen and heard a lot about different things that are supposed to help the community. And what we're doing is trying to build a program which is not just about the loan. By partnering with organizations like First Fridays, the Afro-Caribbean Business Network, the Black Opportunity Fund, as well as the Canadian Black Chamber of Commerce, we are attempting to provide more support for entrepreneurs. With the Chamber of Commerce, what we're doing is we're providing things like wraparound services, which should help our entrepreneurs. If it is that, one thing that we've noticed is that a lot of entrepreneurs come out looking for funding for their ideas, for their companies, and get to the bank and there's somewhat of a dark veil that they're asking for this funding and they're not getting the information that they need. We want to provide that information as well as the support to help them to become stronger in order to achieve their goals and receive that funding. Aside from that, once funding is given, these supporting services are meant to help their businesses be much stronger, to give them the network to support and do the things that they need to do in order to be successful. One quick quote that I heard, and it really put things into perspective for me, because for the longest while, you've been hearing terms like diversity and inclusion bantered around by corporate entities. And someone said to me, diversity is being invited to the party. inclusion is being asked to dance. And I think what CIBC is doing is trying to ask everybody to dance. And if it is that you can't dance, we'll provide dancing lessons. And when you get to the dance, we want to make sure that everybody has a great time and is successful there. This is just a quick introduction to that program. We're working with Warren and putting together something a bit more fulsome. February 15th, we'll be having another event where we'll be able to discuss some more, and we'll have some of our Black entrepreneur specialists attending. For those who are interested, we'll be able to talk and get some more information about the program. Once again, thank you, Warren. Thank you, First Fridays. Thank you to everyone for having me. Look forward to talking with you all again soon.
Oh, thanks so much, Kevon. It's been a pleasure working with you, and I really look forward to the event that we're co-hosting on the 15th. So folks, please look out for your emails, or check our social media. We'll be sending out invites for that event, and hope that you can have a great turnout, and you can learn more about the great offerings from CIBC. Now, our next presenter is an artist. He's the owner of a skier gallery, and it's a real pleasure to have him here at First Fridays. I think for the first time, we've been trying to get him out for a number of years, but we're very happy to have him out tonight. So ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Sean Skier to the stage.
Wow. Thank you, Warren.
Hey, Sean.
Hi. I just want to say thank you very much, Warren, for this opportunity. Like my intuition a couple of weeks ago was like, oh, let me give Warren a call to say hello. And I called you, and the next thing I know, everything kind of serendipitously kind of connected. You asked me if I'd be interested, and of course, I'm interested. I don't know what took me so long, just hearing all this, like the speakers so far. I'm like, wow, it's like, why haven't I been here? So that's the real truth. Like, it's like, damn, I've missed a lot of information. However, it's been an incredible day, learning so much technology, and thank you very much for your help. You'll be helping me with the slideshow. I guess what I'm really interested in about sharing some of my work and being a Black artist in Toronto, and been working as an artist for many years. I had a skier gallery for 13 years. I'm actually now more virtual because the building sold, so it's mostly online. But there's still opportunity for people to come and have studio visits if they're interested in the work. So I guess what I want to speak to is, being an artist of color, being an artist in the community. People are like, wow, like, I don't know how encouraged, the community is with artists, because it does feel sometimes like, wow, the iconic notion of the starving artist. And I always believed in passion first. I always was led by my heart through passion, and I knew it was going to be hard work. I'm a creative person, but I persevered, and it wasn't always easy, but it also gave me a real sense of belonging. And I think the support that I have received from many people in Toronto, coming from Halifax, Nova Scotia, I realized that I could realize my dreams, be an artist, and I just kept going. And, I just kind of continue to be positive, keep it forward, be inspired, and keep painting. And I think if that message, I can present or project that message to younger entrepreneurs or, up and coming artists in any creative genre, I mean, I think I'm very excited about that. So the work I'm showing, Warren's going to be assisting me on this, because somehow my computer wasn't up to its Mac ability. I don't know what's going on. However, so I would say with this work, this is the early work that I created, and this is like 2 decades ago. And I call this work King and Queen, and it was kind of inspired. It was obviously inspired by African sculpture, but how, everything was like when I was looking at sculpture, I was like, I love the whole intertwining and the functionability of African art, although it was inspiring me to interpret what I felt it looked like to me, but this is my interpretation. And then what happened is I kind of work spontaneously and I just keep on creating lines. Now this work is called King and Queen. It's acrylic etched on wood panel. I think I did this in 1998. And I also have this as a giclée print. I've actually done quite well with this. People always resonated to this piece. They always like, oh, can I get this piece? So if anybody's interested, just inquire. I have a few giclées. So Warren, next, please. Now this is actually a piece I called Walk in Celebration. And this is the original piece. Now I woke up one night at 3 o'clock in the morning in 1998 on probably in February, because I remember being very cold, and happy Black History Month and year to everybody. It's like, I agree, it should be celebrated throughout the whole year. And I woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning and I had this calligraphy brush and I dipped it into the paint and I just, did my thing, whatever I was doing. It was a feeling, something was going on. But then it would only happen in a couple, like maybe 20 seconds. And then I got this fine balance of this like very figurative walking celebration, dancing perspective. And what I always liked about it, it always gave me that, when I looked at this work, it had the essence of a tribal quality of dancing, but also very celebratory. So this has always been one of my favorite little gems. I think when you're an artist and you create something that you really like, you can always like smile back at it and go, wow, I like this. This would be the piece. So that's why I include it. Next, please. And with the other etch series, the King and Queen series. So I've been doing this work on and off probably for the last 20 years. And I just actually start revisiting it. And to my surprise, I was like, we try to fit into these little boxes. Like we have to make our money, we have to pay our mortgage, we have to do this stuff. So I was creating a lot of work that I was definitely inspired by, but I also knew I wanted to be free, drawn with the charcoal and stuff. But then you'll see in other works, it's like, oh, it's very, it could be what some people would say decorative, but it all has a general approach of markings and making and not using classical approaches to, the European style of what is classical art. Picasso did steal from, African culture. And I said, well, if he can do it, I'm just going to do my own markings. People do compare this work to his aesthetic, I think, because of the angles of, how I do my markings. But I love it. I'm enjoying doing the process. Next, please. So yeah, these are just pictures of the process of me working. I usually start with charcoal and then I use spray paint and I use, just try to find the negative and positive space. And I always was inspired by sculpture. I don't even know why I'm not a sculptor, but I think it was because I never had the room to be a sculptor. I didn't have the space. However, I thought, well, maybe I'll sculpt on canvas. So this is what I do. So I work on canvas, raw canvas, as well as a wood panel. Next. We might have to go a little faster, it's a lot of work. So these are just some samples of the work. And, the way I work is very intuitive. Like, it's like, I have 5 or 6 brushes going at one time. And I'm I don't know, maybe I hope I'm not being too quick, but my energy is quite, boom. Like, I'm not like, da, 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 da. I like to get things done when I'm painting and I'm prolific. So, but I also know, like, I think about things when I'm like, okay, that's where this needs to go. It's not thought out. It's just happens at the time it happens. Next. So after I was doing a lot of painting and, doing shows at cafes and, little galleries around the city. And I started getting approached by interior designers and developers to do some works for their hotels and condos and developing projects. So I was fortunate to partner up with a company in Vancouver called Bentall Kennedy Oak. And they've been very wonderful to the BIPOC community. And I've been able to be helping other young Black artists get their works in, to be prominent pieces of artwork that are going to be in, condos and, different community centers and stuff. So I'm very proud about that I was able to help other artists, because I always felt like I was just working and they gave me an opportunity to do some pieces. Next, please. So this is that stuff. So when I worked on this piece, I called this DNA, and the DNA aspect was not necessarily my DNA. It was just the DNA of the world, people. And I was inspired by the shards. I'm not a medical person, but the strands of DNA colors in those medical drawings. So that's how I called them DNA, but I really I was very excited about doing it. Like just carving, I was kind of weaving, I was making markings, and I just enjoyed it. It was a very meditative experience. And this is where the DNA kind of commission work started. I just kept doing them. Next, please. Next, please. These are just process pictures. So this is a finished piece that I was commissioned to do by Ciccone Simone. That's a design company that's been around for several years. And I don't work this big because I don't have space to put work this size. I mean, would I love to be working all around the world and doing big pieces of commissions? Yes. And yes, I've been getting great work, but it's a great opportunity to have when you can actually do a nice big piece. And the perspective is very strange because that couch is huge. So that piece is actually 5 feet. What is it? It's a 59 by 108 inches. So I think it's, if I did my math correctly, it's about 5.5 feet by 7 or 11 feet. Anyway, that was the piece I had to leave my small gallery because I had to go outside to move it. That's how small my gallery was. Next, please. Perspective, me. So then I start getting into the community development. So, well, not the development per se, but I was teaming up with people like with the Daniel Spectrum and showing my work at their facility. And then that led to other opportunities. Then I was creating, I was answering calls to artists or for artists to create work. And I just kept doing that. I was getting jobs of hoardings and, just community, what is it? Like engagement, including people. So a lot of the work that I do with the community in terms of my graphic style, because my background at Nova Scotia College of Art and Design is in graphic design. I did graphics and illustration. However, I always want to be a painter and I always want to follow that passion, but this gave me an opportunity to create both of those sensations. So that's where some of this stuff comes from. That's the Daniel Spectrum gym. And yeah, next please. So yeah, so it's a vinyl covering, but it's based on the community. So I think stuff like this can be very cool because it just gives you another opportunity to put your work out there in other revenue streams and not be limited to just your brush. I love all forms of creativity and I love graphics and I love color. So next. So next, that's community diversity. That's what I came up with, just very poppy. That was the gym. That's the gym, still is the gym. This is another job I recently just got. Daniel's just had this, about 2 years ago, this the Harriet Tubman building, there was an act of racism when the building was being built, and somebody had left a noose in the lobby, and Daniels was very, very upset. It was on the news, and they wanted to denounce anything that had to do with racism, or they knew they had no tolerance for this at all. So they put a call out to artists. Artists submitted their work, and I came up with a concept. Next. And I called this piece, this was just my original kind of drawing, and I called it Victory Mountain. And it's the concept, the work is, it's embedded with the symbols, like the secret coded symbols that were used by travelers and Black people who were coming from the South to escape to Canada for freedom and emancipation, but along the journey, what they call the Underground Railroad. So I was very literal with this, but in some of this work, you can see the symbols. In the next piece, you'll be able to see more. I actually created a legend. So this is the work. It's called Victory Mountain, and it's let me see. It's 8 feet by 8 feet, so it's pretty big. It's a pretty heavy piece. Like that's a what is it, marble wall. So it was a lot to configure going into this whole public art. Like, how do you just hang work that's going to stay? So that's been very exciting. I've been, learning how to navigate through that landscape. Next, please. So this, next to the piece, there is a plaque, and this shows some of the symbols. And so this is in the lobby of the Harriet Tubman building. So this just kind of educates everybody about some of the symbolisms and the graphic symbolisms that were used and that were in place during that time to get people to freedom. Next. And this was a piece I did, I think 2019. And this was the initiative of Patch Project. And that's an organization in Toronto that they team up artists with businesses, and they do I guess it's like a 50-50 split, but it's a really good thing for artists to get their work on hoarding and beautification and keeping the city looking vibrant and not just like wood panels saying post no bills, post no bills. So yeah, so this was fun. It kind of gave me the same sense of like, my strokes of the actual painting, as well as my background in, graphic design. So yeah, that was great. This mural was actually 200. That was the one piece, but this was actually 275 feet long. So it was really great to drive down Yonge Street and see like a whole block and go, wow, that's cool. Next. This was my last project I just did with a developer in Vancouver called Bento Kennedy Oak. I did this, the work I did, the DNA, which I called Lake to Sky. They came back to me and asked me to do 2 commissioned pieces for Liberty Village. And I was like so excited. Oh, I don't know what happened here. What's that? What's going on? Hello? Yeah. Where are we? So they asked me to do a piece that conveyed, they liked my work, and it's always nice to be able to experiment with different techniques and mediums, and this piece just gave me that carte blanche feeling of, I'm gonna really just gonna enjoy doing something I'm finding harmony in it without it even being planned out, if that makes sense. Sometimes you can plan out composition. This one, I kind of really went into it going, oh man, I need not balance, but harmony. So that I called this piece the Golden Hour, which kind of reminded me of built up. So I'm very excited. It was super fun to work on. Next. And this was the other piece. And I don't know why, I'm not a flower person. I love flowers. But when I start painting the canvas, I was just, oh, this is happening. And, of course it's hard. You can't see all the details because it's such a small piece. But I think that this piece is 84 inches by 54 inches. And it's almost like stained glass. It's beautiful. So, I think so. Next.
All right. So we got to wrap up soon. Or
okay. So if you want to just quickly go through some stuff, okay. push it. And there's some NFT stuff I'm working on. Just keep on going, Warren. That's all right. Nelson Mandela, I was commissioned to do something for him, more work. Yeah. But thank you, Warren, for this opportunity. And I'm very excited.
Hey, Sean, it was great, seeing all your work. I didn't realize the extent of your work. And, it's beautiful, man. You're doing some beautiful work, man. I mean, I've probably seen some of it and not even knowing that it was your stuff, but
well,
thanks so much.
It's nice.
And we do have a few more presenters. If we have some time at the end, maybe we can continue going through the rest of it. Yeah. But if you're able to stick around, but just got to bring on our next presenters. So our next presenter is he's a gentleman who's worked closely with First Fridays. They're actually one of our sponsors. And sorry, let me just, we're very happy to have him here tonight. And we'd just like to start off by doing an intro video. So please watch your screen.
Moses A. Mawa is the president of Silver Trust, Afro Global Television, Destiny, and the Transformation Institute. He is the architect of business, media, ministry, and social innovation brands, including the Crossover Mentorship Program. Moses co-founded the Marcus Garvey Institute with Dr. Julius Garvey, son of the legendary Marcus Mosiah Garvey, and their associate, Michael Dawson. As a film and television executive, Moses has produced Synergy, Standing Ovation, The Minister, the Oma Bella drama series, and contents for other private and public sector establishments. His Excellence Awards initiative has honored Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s daughter, Bernice King, Bob Marley's wife, Rita Marley, Nobel laureate, Professor Wole Soyinka, Jamaica's first female prime minister, Portia Simpson Miller, South African music superstar, Yvonne Chaka Chaka, and others. The Transformation Program has awarded many Canadian leaders and innovators. Publisher of Envision, Destiny, Legacy, Diversity, Excellence, and the Discover Magazine series, Moses has authored the 150 Extraordinary Canadians Legacy book with his wife Patricia, the foreword by Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. In 2016, Moses and his team launched Afro Global Television, a 24-hour super channel that informs, empowers, uplifts, and entertains with great programming. Moses received the York Regional Police Civic Leadership Award, Real World Visionary Award, the Harry Jerome Media Award, Toronto Police Community Service Award, and the Queen Elizabeth II Diamond Jubilee Medal. In 2013, CNN featured Moses and Patricia in a half-hour worldwide television broadcast, calling them the Power Couple. In 2019, Moses participated in the Royal Canadian Navy's leadership program. A proud husband and father, Moses holds a BA degree in film studies from Carleton University, among other achievements and honors.
All right. Please welcome Mr. Moses Mawa to the stage. Welcome, Moses.
Thank you so much, Warren. It's truly a pleasure to be here with you guys. Happy Black History Month. This is really one of the most important times of the year because of the fact that the entire nation and indeed the world pays attention to us and our accomplishments. And it's incredibly significant also because of the fact that as much as our history is 365, days of the year, and it really needs to be treated like that, it's quite interesting that at a particular time, the world actually is at a standstill to honor and to celebrate our own accomplishments. So I am going to make the presentation as brief as it is possible. It is actually in regards to an upcoming event on the 22nd of this month, I actually have something that I'm going to share here. Okay, is everyone seeing the screen here? I hope so.
Yeah, we can see that.
Okay, so this is actually the Black History Month event of the Afro Global Television channel. And it is essentially going to be on the 22nd of February, 2022. So numerically, if you look at that, it's quite significant. And it also means really we need to actually pair ourselves in this dispensation of significant progress and attention being actually paid to our community as indicated. So this is going to be an event with the theme Determination Drives Success. And whether it's Robert Small or any one of the accomplished people on this program today, they could not have achieved what they have achieved without determination. So we are really encouraging everyone to join us for an unforgettable heritage experience with a keynote speech, inspiring dialogue, special messages, poetry, and so much else that will be happening. We are going to have the Honorable Dr. Jean Augustine, former minister, and the person whom we actually credit for the establishment of Black History Month as a formal celebration across Canada. We have Dr. Molefi Asante, who is the leading African-American scholar and professor who got his PhD actually while he was in his 20s and went on to achieve so much else over the last few decades. We have Wes Hall, the founder of Black North, who will be speaking, Mayor John Tory, and actress Linda Osifo, and of course, Poet Laureate of Canada, George Elliott Clark will also be speaking. And I am also really delighted to let you know that on that day, we will be launching a very, very, very special program. It is actually known as the 100 Most Influential Black Canadians Project. And this initiative actually came at an interesting time because there was a function that was being held in Ottawa in the central block of the Parliament. So they had cocktails and so on. So I was among the people who were there. So someone was going through the crowds asking people, are you Moses? Are you Mr. Mawa from Afro Global? Then someone said, that's him, and pointed at me actually. So the interesting thing is that the person then came and introduced himself as someone actually from the office of the Prime Minister, saying that they are looking at the prospect of being able to appoint the Prime Minister's office to appoint, Blacks, to government agencies and opportunities and so on. So they learned that we've been involved with doing a lot through the Excellence Awards program that Afro Global has been doing actually for many years, and that we actually run the television channel, which by the way now is on Rogers Cable, Bell, TELUS, Eastlink, and other platforms across the country. And then of course we have some new digital platforms that are coming up, as well. So then we then thought that, okay, with this, we really need to do more to be able to present our success stories and the people who have integrity and who have that spirit of excellence, and to actually profile them in a major way. And then we had, of course, done something, the 150 Extraordinary Canadians project as well. And we published actually a book, The Forward, actually written by the Prime Minister and so on. So this is kind of a part of that, but this is essentially focused on the Black community. So if you know someone that needs to be considered actually for this, reach out. We'll actually be aggressively doing a lot through social media and all sectors, whether in government or business or the nonprofit sort of sector and youth, etc. That is actually something that will be in a position of considering as well. So this is going to be a major event that will be streamed live on various social media platforms in full high definition. And then it's also going to be on television on our channel, as well as on Omni Television. because right now we are actually really the largest Black-owned media organization when it comes to brand proliferation. We run actually multiple publications that are printed and digital ones that are actually coming up as well. And so this is basically it. We're on Facebook and LinkedIn and Instagram and pretty much all of the platforms. If you search Afro Global or Silver Trust Media or myself by my name, you'll be able to get that. So I just want to take the opportunity to thank you all so very much, and to congratulate you, Warren, for a job well done. We've actually been a sponsor of Fast Fridays for so many years, and we intend to continue to do so. And I also want to take the opportunity to thank everyone, especially the presenters who have participated so beautifully, particularly those opening remarks from Mark Beckles, who has been such an inspiring leader and an incredible person for that matter. So I thank you so very much, and you do take care.
Oh, all right. Thanks, Moses. And thanks for, partnering with us over all these years. It's been a real pleasure working with you and Patricia. And we look forward to working with you for many years to come. And congrats on the great Black History Month you have coming up. Looking forward to checking that out. Thank you. All right. So we just have 2 presenters left. Our next presenter is with the Canadian government. He's an economic policy analyst with the Procurement Assistance Canada. And he's here to tell us about Innovation Information Forum, for the Black Business Edition. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Imanzi Keatar to this screen. Thank you.
Great. Thanks a lot, Warren, for that warm introduction. And hello to everyone. Good evening. This is a pleasure to be here. And as to what the other panelists have been mentioning, it's just been a phenomenal time just hearing the amazing initiatives. Personally, I'm definitely going to be checking out a lot of these great initiatives that's going on. So let me just quickly share my screen, and then I will get right into it. Okay. So yeah, as Warren mentioned, my name is Imanzi Keatar, and I work for the Department of Public Services and Procurement Canada, so within the Government of Canada. Quick bio on myself: I've been with the federal government for over 10 years. Been with this department now for about a year and a half, and also most of the Black business lead for our region. And so we are putting on an upcoming event for Black History Month, and of course not just for this Black History Month, but obviously I do echo what everyone's saying, in terms of supporting Black-led businesses all year round and supporting Black excellence 365 days a year. So I feel honored and privileged to be in those rooms to really advocate for the community. And so I'm definitely also focus at a community at heart as well. So before I get to the event which we're hosting next week, maybe I'll start off with giving a little bit of background about who we are. So within Procurement Assistance Canada. So Procurement Assistance Canada, we are within the Department of the Public Services and Procurement Canada. Myself, I work for the Ontario Region office. So our office is in Toronto. So at Yonge and Sheppard there at the 4900 Yonge Street. So many of you that are familiar with the Toronto area definitely could be familiar with that, big brown building there. So that's our regional office. And so our main mandate for Procurement Assistance Canada is to support smaller and diverse businesses through the federal procurement process. I guess to sum it up, what Public Services Procurement Canada does, and so we handle a lot of the procurement on behalf of the Government of Canada. So whether that's office buildings, whether that's the purchasing of goods and services across the board, and in terms of the marketplace, it's usually about $15 to $20 billion annually. So It is a large marketplace. And so our role is to engage, assist, and to inform businesses on how to sell their goods and services to the government of Canada, as well as working to reduce the barriers to ensure fairness in the process. So our particular unit is very outward facing. So we have a lot of the procurement specialists, which will go through the contracts, the bids, the tenders, everything like that. And our role is more so outward. So we do a lot of outreach and stakeholder engagement, attending events such as this. I've attended actually lots of First Friday events, so I'm definitely honored to be here to speak. So this is definitely a joy for me right now. But yeah, so as I mentioned, we're very much outward facing. And so in terms of our services that we provide, so we do provide weekly webinars and seminars to support businesses in navigating the federal procurement journey. Hearing a lot of feedback from suppliers, from businesses in terms of what are their needs, what are the current barriers they are facing, and of course, obviously, also engaging with various different businesses, small and medium businesses in particular, also realizing that there is a very acute need in terms of supporting small businesses as they are the engine of our economy. So we do provide webinars on the fundamentals. So these are all free, and we do have offices all over the country, and I'll get into shortly in terms of where you can go for that. But we do also have one-on-one consultations. So in addition to attending any one of our weekly webinars on the fundamentals, on how to do business with the government, and we also provide one-on-one meetings. So if you do want to connect with us, I will provide our website and our email address. You can reach out to us if you have any specific questions about your business and how to navigate federal procurement. That is what we're there for, as well as an info line, which you can contact us at any point in time. And the website, the general website, is canada.ca/PAC, so Procurement Assistance Canada, which you'll find more information. So just want to highlight this website. So I'm not going to go into like the full seminar, obviously. I'm just keeping this very short, high level sort of pitch about Procurement Assistance Canada, but just want to flag this website to you, and obviously I could get into maybe a little bit more into the breakout room, but buyandsell.gc.ca, this is the main website, the main platform for which you would go to search for federal procurement opportunities. So it is a free platform, so you don't need to pay to access it. You can register if you are an incorporated business. You just fill out your profile, and then from there you can then start accessing opportunities. And in terms of the opportunities, whether you are in terms of the goods and services, whether if you're in architectural engineering, if you're in providing consulting services, business, IT, anything for which the government can actually buys. So your clients or your customers would be federal departments are looking to procure particular goods and services. So this is the main site where you would go to access the information, and it is all open source. So it is very transparent in terms of you could actually find out who are your actual competitors, what have been the actual contracts that have been awarded, what is the dollar amount. So you could figure out in terms of strategy for your business. So modernizing federal procurement. So there have been various initiatives to modernize federal procurement. So a lot of the big misconceptions that we do get is that that they don't look to government as a potential customer, is that they may think that it's time consuming, or it's very the process is maybe very bureaucratic. So there have been steps to streamline and to ensure that that is being modern. So such initiatives in terms of electronic submissions. So back in the day, it used to be all paper-based. So making sure all the opportunities, the bids and tenders is all available through electronic, as well as the 15-day payment. So usually once a contract or once a service has been rendered, once invoice has been received, it's usually 30 days for payment to be issued. So there have been initiatives to speed up that process for 15-day payment. So that's an initiative where they're taking modernization very, very seriously in terms of also investing in enterprise systems as well. Plain language and reducing barriers to entry. So this is also another key focus because this is a lot of the feedback that we do get from the supplier community and from the small business community, and that some of the sort of stumbling blocks as to maybe why they won't want to pursue government procurement. So I briefly want to touch on initiative that has been publicly announced, which is the Supply Diversity Action Plan. So this is an initiative that has been driven by Public Services and Procurement Canada in terms of the Better Buying Initiative. And what this means is that, and what I mentioned in the beginning is that there is a big focus right now for making sure that we are diversifying the supply chain. Right, and so you've probably been to many different forums. You probably have been hearing this a lot. Hearing the announcements, whether it's the Black Entrepreneurship Program or other types of programs and initiatives. And Public Service for Canada is one of those initiatives in terms of how do we diversify the supply chain. So, so there have been recent initiatives for that. So recent initiatives such as the testing of various different pilots, and so understanding that. For various communities, diverse, racialized communities, Black business communities that we have for a long time have not been involved in participating in federal procurement opportunities, and obviously due to various different barriers, systemic barriers, racism, all of that. And so there have been initiatives to test and to find out what are the barriers for which business groups have been experiencing. There is a social procurement policy that was also launched last year. And so what that is to, that will allow for more flexibility and more targeted initiatives for specific diverse, underrepresented groups, specific initiatives for the Black business community as well. There was a recent Black procurement pilot that was launched last year. And I'll get into in the next slide about that. As well as there's an initiative for a coaching service. So also realizing that in order to make sure that we are including enough small businesses, and obviously businesses that have not been participating in the supply chain, the fundamentals is one part, but also there's the capacity part as well. And so there have been some pilot initiatives for coaching services, and so those would be pilot initiatives where specifically targeting racialized and diverse communities to making sure that they're walking through the process in terms of how to bid, how to actually respond to a bid, and actually have like a one-on-one service, right? And so this is also something which is also being piloted. And so there is a link that is on here. I'll also put the link in the chat as well. And so you can just search up for the Supply Diversity Action Plan. And you can read through all the points and all the initiatives. And a lot of it is still in development. But recently, over the past week or so, it's actually been posted online publicly. So in terms of Black business outreach, and so do you want to be very specific and direct, obviously, and in terms of the Black business procurement pilot. So that, as I mentioned, that was launched last year. That was the first time that the department has ever done such a thing like this. And so, they got a lot of the feedback, and they're hoping to do more targeted Black procurement outreach again in the future. And so this is a big focus, and also something that we've seen it's going to be a high priority for the government. And so this was in the previous mandate letter, and it's also continuing in this recent mandate letter as well. And so there is a high specific priority for racialized, and then specifically for Black-led businesses. So there was a recent request for information initiative, and so that is an initiative that was sent out for a questionnaire to find out more information about the Black business community. So what has their experiences been in regards to procurement? What are the various different industries and sectors, and so right now, trying to compile and get as much insights on the Black business community. And so that was a questionnaire that was launched last year that will better inform as to future procurement opportunities. And then as well as, collaboration with industry and associations. And so realizing that to really make this of a, critical, mass success, we need to be collaborating with our industry associations, with our community partners, specifically within the Black business community. And for myself, I'm passionate about this work. And, for me, this is like, there's no sort of like an off and on type thing. It's like, I want to see our community succeed, and just engaging and doing these types of strategic outreach, and also realizing and advising senior management that, these are the barriers which, our community is facing, and, these are some of the feedbacks, and these are some of the opportunities for which how we could better engage. So in terms of our upcoming event, and so as I mentioned, our services, we do provide strategic outreach for procurement and navigating federal procurement opportunities. We also have an innovation information forum, which is coming up, the Black Business Edition. That's going to be coming up on February 10th, so next Thursday. This is going to be the first time that we are going to be delivering this. So myself being the Black business lead, I've really been honored to really take this on and to pitch to our department that there is a strong need to bring together the various different ecosystems, specifically within the innovation ecosystem, and how best we could be supporting it together. So it's going to be next Thursday. So we're going to be collaborating with a couple different federal department organizations. So Business Development Canada, BDC, Global Affairs, Trade Commissioner Services, Export Development Canada, IRAP, which is the Industrial Research Assistance Program offered by National Research Council of Canada, as well as local partners are involved in the innovation, tech, and small business space. So really, this will be a great opportunity for any small businesses, entrepreneurs, founders, those that are involved within the innovation ecosystem. You're going, in terms of if you are looking for better navigation in terms of federal programs, services, funding supports. If you're looking to export abroad as a Black-led business, what are the opportunities in terms of here domestically? What are the opportunities? How best can you tap into them? And so this is definitely something which is going to be a big initiative. And so far, there has been a good response to that. And so I will also provide the link in the chat, and you could also reach out to me. I'm also in the breakout room for that. We are on social media as well. So if you just go to the Doing Business with the Government of Canada, we're on Twitter and LinkedIn. And so actually it was just posted today. So registration is still available. And here just gives a map of where our Procurement Assistance Canada offices are based. So as I mentioned, I'm coming from Ontario, but if you're in the Western region, if you're in Pacific, if you're in Atlantic, it doesn't matter where you go to, we all provide the same service. And so we'll just serve those businesses in those regions. So for more information, you would just go on to our PAC website, Buy and Sell website, to find out where all the different regions are at, and then you can definitely contact them. And that is it.
All right.
So,
well,
thanks a lot,
much,
Warren.
Thanks so much, Amanzi. Appreciate that. So Amanzi will be in a breakout room following the presentations. So last but not least is Mr. I call him Mr. Black History Month. He's been coming out to First Fridays every Black History Month for many years, and we're very proud that this year he just received the Order of Canada. So now we have to add CM to his last name. But ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Robert Small, creator of the Legacy of Black History Month poster.
Well, thanks, Warren. I appreciate that introduction, and congratulations to yourself for being around for the same amount of time that I've been around. That's great. And I do have to give the flowers to Sean Skier, who I've always admired his work and everything, and always like, damn, like how much time does it take you to do that, right? Just as an artist, knowing how in depth and detail things can get and how long it takes, like his actually probably takes a lot longer than mine, right? So congrats to Sean always. I always look up to him. But needless to say, I'm here, under the moniker of Mr. Black History Month. So I'm going to do a presentation and I would be doing it injustice if I don't talk about the importance of Black History Month to our community, because I always view it, people always complain, oh, it's 28 days a year and stuff like that. We didn't get 31, right? But the thing about it is, I always view Black History Month as dropping a heavy rock into a pond and watching the ripple effects throughout the whole year. So rather than look at Black History Month as an opportunity, as a negative with respect to the limitations of the month, we should look upon it that we have 28 days to embrace who we are, to make a difference, and to make an impact in our community. So I have 28 days to do that, but really, I don't need 3 more because I've prepared throughout the whole year for this time. So when this door is open, I plow through it and I make my difference. I'm going to show you how things have gone for me right now while I share the screen. And on the way we go. So, yeah, so the one thing I just want to show you, and I'm going to go through these slides very briefly. One thing that I want to make sure everyone knows, that Black History Month was never given to us by anybody. It was actually selected by an African American by the name of Carter G. Woodson. And Carter G. Woodson selected the second week of February, and he deemed it in 1826, and he deemed it that an important time because it was between the 2 birthdays of 2 people that he respected, abolitionist Frederick Douglass and the President of the United States who freed the slaves, Abraham Lincoln, right? So his intention was to educate people about the accomplishments of African people worldwide, because he felt in academia that wasn't being done. Okay, so he decided for this week for people to come together and talk about what they learned throughout the whole year. So from its inception, the purpose was never to start at the beginning of Negro History Week, learning about Black History Month, and then stop at the end of the week. The intention was always to just merely come together like we are in this forum and talk about the importance of Black History Month. So we should stop thinking about it as the shortest month of the year and say, oh, I'm Black all year, and why is it we only have a month, and why celebrate it just because and talk about slavery? No, there's so many different ways to view Black History Month that the least that we need to do is to talk about the negative. And even if we did talk about slavery, the enslavement of African people that brought us to North America and the Caribbean and North America in general, we should look upon it as how come when we were taught about the enslavement of African people who were brought here, that they didn't talk about the hundreds of slave rebellions that occurred, and that was the reason why the slave masters were harsh towards the slaves, because they were afraid of them. It wasn't because they were just aimlessly hitting them. They were hitting them because they were afraid that they would slit their throats in the middle of the night, right? So consequently, that little part was deliberately left out when all of us were being told these stories. So consequently, doing this post that I create, I really think it's important that when I've been doing this post over the last 28 years, to really grab a hold of our history and to claim it for ourselves and to tell it in our own way, right? That's very important, because if you allow history to be told by somebody else, they'll tell it in their own way, and they have told it in their own way. And you see the results of them telling our stories, that they are telling gaping holes in the stories if it doesn't fit people's purpose. And the enslavement of African people is just a case example of that. So consequently, people always wonder, like, what the hell are you showing this picture of the Justice League for? How the hell does that relate to Black History Month? You know, because the bottom line is, for me personally, on my journey as artist, I actually wanted to become a comic book artist when I was like 10 years old. But the one thing that, as the years gone by, and I was working up the courage to tell my parents at like 17, 18, that I really wanted to go to New York City to become a comic book artist. When my Bayesian parents asked me, okay, well, Robert, what do you want to do in life? You know, and I was sitting there going, okay, I have to answer this. So even though in the back of my mind, I was thinking artist, by the time that answer traveled around my head and out my mouth, for some reason I said lawyer, right? Because I thought that was the acceptable answer that my Bayesian parents wanted to hear. You know, but the bottom line is that when I was younger, I was always drawing Superman, Batman, and the Hulk and everything like that. And I was pretty much living a lot of my fantasies and a lot of things through comics. Because now I'm not drawing Superman, but I am drawing Lincoln Alexander and having a picture of Lincoln Alexander right here and trying to draw him here. So if I didn't, so I say that to make sure that everyone who has a son or a daughter that is drawing and you don't think that, and you just think that they're just aimlessly doing something, that I just want to make you know that it can lead to becoming an Order of Canada recipient. Because if I didn't do that when I was younger, I wouldn't learn the whole process that was very important to me to become a great artist and to keep on developing my art. But the one thing I also want to why I want to show you this picture is because when you are being told stories of incredible people, fictional or non-fictional, it leaves an impact on your self-esteem. And the fact of the matter is that these are the images that I grew up with. And yes, you know, there were times that I wrapped a red towel around my neck and jumped into the air trying to pretend I could fly. I think I levitated for about 3 seconds. But if the people that I read about when I was younger looked like this, my self-esteem would be higher if I was watching the exploits of Superman and he looked like me at 5 years old, at 7, at 10, at 15, at 25, at 35, at 40, right? Like, these are the images. And when we talk about white privilege, you know, people shouldn't think about white power. Like, it's similar to that. It's just that whites are privileged to images that positively impact them without their knowledge, right? So if you have a white woman and she's called Wonder Woman, you consciously think that white women are wonders, right? You know, if you're constantly referring to them as Wonder Woman from when you're 5 to when you're 10 to when you're 20, 25, 30, that's 20 years of referring to the image of a white woman as a wonder, for God's sake. You know, and that can definitely leave an impression on you. But if I was looking at the image of a Wonder Woman in the form of a Black woman, it will definitely leave a positive impression. It would definitely not leave a worse impression. And so consequently, I would look at my daughters, my wife, my girlfriend, you know, my mother, my grandmother, and somehow by osmosis, once again, you know, that would only help enhance my already positive images of them, right? And that's what it should be with all of us. With regarding to seeing an image of Superman in the form of myself, like, what type of, it would be an incredible boost to a young boy that embraces comic books and constantly sees someone that overcomes adversity, overcomes supervillains, saves the earth countless times, if that image looks like them. So when we talk about images, whether it be the images that Sean creates through painting, or the images that come come through Moses's production house, we always have to consider that these are powerful images that we should embrace, whether they be in movies, paintings, or in print. And consequently, when they go to print, this is the image of the poster that I created for this year. The artwork that is featured in this poster right here is not mine this year, because I'm not an Afrofuturistic artist, and the whole theme of this year was to focus on Afrofuturism. And who is an Afrofuturistic artist is Komi Alaf. But I created the poster and the graphic design of it for this year. And the QR, and the one thing I added to this year's poster is that the QR codes that come on the poster, to revolutionize it a little bit, when youth go to scan the QR codes, it goes directly to the websites of the people that are profiled. So consequently, in this technological age, we have to encourage our youth to embrace technology. And I'm using this poster as a means to do so. And it's really been a great experience. And going forward, these QR codes will always be on the poster to make it easier for our youth as well as adults to become knowledgeable about who these people are and what they do. I'm just going to tell you a little bit about these people that are profiled here. Some of the women that are profiled here are Dominique Dennery. She's a Franco-Ontarian visual artist of Haitian origin, and she created the sculptor that you see at the bottom there on the left-hand side on the poster. There's Claudia McGowan, and she's a cybersecurity advocate, and she's an expert in that field. She's a CEO at TD Bank, and she used to be selling robots, and she does that until this very day out of her facility in Aurora, Ontario. And there was Sharon Murdoch, and she is a social justice champion where it comes to healthcare and public policy. She presently lives in Nova Scotia, and she is also an Order of Canada recipient, as well as myself. Then the men that are profiled in the poster are Isaac Oluwafe Jr., and he's a real estate developer. He's created he's created a boutique hotel that's close to the airport. He's had several developments that he's constructed, as well as buildings. There's Komi Alaf, who I mentioned before, and Komi is a poet. He's an architectural designer, and he's a futuristic artist. And if you purchase this poster, you can easily just go to his website and see a lot of his artwork. And saving the best for last, which is Anand Lololi. And Anand Lololi, he's a strong, consistent advocate for food and social justice. The one thing that I enjoy doing with my poster is bringing issues that are important to our community to the forefront. In order to use it using it as an educational tool. And the one thing that's important within our community is the issue of food advocacy, and realize that within the Toronto area, that there are a lot of Black youth who are going to school hungry, and a lot of our Black youth are going to food programs that are feeding them non-nutritional items. I think I was told by my daughter at one of the schools that at one of the breakfast programs at one of the schools, that they were actually giving noodles for breakfast, the ones that you put the hot water in and they become noodles. Between that and like Frosted Flakes and everything like that, these are things that we really need to address and we really think about. And unfortunately, a lot of our initiatives focus on Black middle class objectives, but we're leaving like a great segment of our population behind when we only focus on the Black middle class objectives, but we leave the dimension the aspect of our community behind, and we don't think about their issues. So consequently, with respect to this poster, it not only has the QR codes on there, but it has probing questions on the poster as well that relate to each individual person. So with Isaac, there's questions on generational wealth and how important it is to own a house versus renting. With Anon, there's questions about what is food security, because a lot of people don't even know what food security is. Comey, it's talking about where art would be in the future, and that holds true for Dominique Dennery, who creates sculpture. And there's questions with respect to her on 3D sculpturing and where that's going to take. Is that going to be seen as art? Where it comes to Claudette McGowan, she has a channel on Spotify, which is called C-Suite, and she addresses cybersecurity. And cybersecurity is something that we are going to have to be knowledgeable about going into the future. So there's questions on phishing and scamming. So then our community is more aware of what phishing and scamming entails and how it definitely affects them. Like when I was on the phone with her, I think it was 2 weeks ago, she was saying that she knew about the crisis that was occurring online when big corporations were getting hacked, and she had to jump into action to prevent that. So we have to know what is going on a worldwide scale. That is definitely something that is important to us. And when I talk about, the other thing I want to talk about is my corporate sponsorship. The one thing that when I was talking about the programs that a lot of some banks initiate, the one thing that I'm proud about with respect to BMO sponsor my poster, that this year they're going to be putting out this poster in every branch of the Bank of Montreal across Canada, and they've dedicated to doing that for the next 3 years, as well as sponsoring the poster that I've done, as well as sponsoring some more initiatives that I have down the pike. So consequently, you'll be not only will you be seeing this in every branch of the Bank of Montreal, both French and English, but they also have sponsored me to be able to print, over 1,000 copies of this particular poster to mail out to community organizations across the country. So if you are one, a community organization, or two, an individual that can reach, like, let's say 10, 15, or 20 people directly with this poster, I'll provide you with my email address and you send it to me. But I need you not to just take it and then end up sitting on your desk. I do need you to give it out to our youth to put it up, and in return provide me with a letter stating what you used it for, so I can leverage that for BMO to do more, both with respect to this poster and do more in general. And just want to tell you what the grand master plan is and the manifesto that I have. Okay, so the one thing I'm going to be launching in a matter of days, actually, is an online app which is called Afrotastic. It's not just fantastic, it's Afrotastic, right? And with that, with this app, is basically going to be quizzing people in an entertaining, but in addition to that, in an informative way about the contribution of African people provincially. So there's going to be questions on African Canadians, Ontario, in Nova Scotia, and Quebec, and a variety of questions for those Western provinces. So we're going to be marketing this to secondary schools. I have over probably about 400 questions in total on this, right? So so even though I have questions that are related to African American history on there as well, but we're going to be launching it just on Canadian content there. And I am getting corporate sponsorship to bring this out in stages. This is the first stage, but it's going to become more interactive. It's going to become more visual. And eventually, after the course of 3 years, that we're going to be entering the phase where this type of initiative that we're having is actually going to be similar to Arkham Asylum and this, that, and the other games that you see your children play right now, but in an Afrocentric way, where they're traveling to Montreal, where they're traveling to they're transported to Africville in Nova Scotia. That they're driving in the taxi cab, the first taxi cab company here in Ontario. So we have to really like walk and chew gum at the same time. So with respect to the plans that we all have for the future, we have to start initiating that future as presently and do it at the same time as we're planning for the future. So for the last few weeks, I've been up late making sure that I'm able to release this this year, obviously, given the momentum I've gotten getting the Order of Canada. But I definitely need your support because, there are 1.5 million Black people and African people in the GTA, and if only 20%, purchase my poster and distribute it, we'd effectively create a force field for our children's self-esteem. If we just 1 year, we all did it. And if we did this consecutively each year, yes, it's okay. I'm very proud of the fact that you're proud of me for creating this poster, but I spent the last 28 years hoping that we get many people within the Black community to support my poster and put it up and have that be a flagship for our children to say that for one time of the year that we were united around one cause, and consequently, I'm very proud about BMO dedicating themselves for 3 years and being along for this ride of working with me throughout the year, so a bigger rock can be thrown into the pond next year, February 2003, and I'm already planning for that. And consequently, if you want these are the past posters I've created, you just go to my website, www.thelegacycollection.com, and with respect to if you're interested in receiving some of the mini posters that I've got, I'll share that with the people that are on this Zoom here tonight. So just email me with your address and just dedicate yourself to writing me a letter in response for that. So I actually painted these ones and drew these ones. So this is my 25th year anniversary. It's also available on my website. Once again, on this year, 25 years, after celebrating 25 years, which happened 3 years ago. I reached over celebrating 100 different African Canadians. So this was called the yearbook. This one, I was focusing on the accomplishments of African women around the world, both the United States, North America, and on the continent of Africa and in the Caribbean, that you can also see on my website. And going back to how I started this, is that with respect to telling our stories, it's very important for us to take control of our story, tell it how we would like. When I was addressing the enslavement of African people with this piece, it's more so talking about the adversity that we face, representing the turbulent water, and representing the fact that there were African people that were enslaved, that rather than giving into the enslavement, they jumped over the side of the boat and tried swimming back to Africa, as well as there were those that rebelled on the shores of Africa, on the Pacific, as well as in North America. And with that, I'd like to thank BMO for its sponsorship, and I'd like to thank any support that I can get from you by going to my website, purchasing, and once again, erecting the force field for our children's self-esteem. Thanks a lot.
All right. Thanks, Rob. Yeah, please stop sharing your screen. But let's give it up for Sir Robert Small, Order of Canada recipient. Thanks, Robert. So we do have some breakout rooms that are going to be opening. I'd like to welcome Mr. Ryan Knight from the ACBN to say a couple of words. Ryan?
Awesome. Thanks, Warren. Can I share my screen real quick?
Yeah.
Be quick, I promise. Yeah. All right. And so I wanted to let me make sure my camera's on. Invite everyone to the upcoming ACBN Legacy Symposium. We take 2 days to work directly on your business to strengthen the 4 pillars of operations. So your business model, making sure your target market and your value proposition is on point, your financials, that you're confident with your financials, and your leadership. So being able to build a team around you. So I always get pushback saying, oh, it's 2 days. I don't have time to spend 2 days. There's so much to do in my business. if you're realizing you don't have time to spend working on your business, that is a notification that there's something wrong with the machine that you've built. So do some deep introspection. We'd love to have you there. The early bird did finish, which was $25 for both days. The price did go up to $75, but for First Fridays, we are doing a special where we're gonna honor the $25. So I'm gonna put that into the chat after. If you use code First Fridays 50, you'll be able to get the $25 early bird special. And really quickly, at the event, we're going to be talking about the different funding that we're able to connect you to. CIBC is going to be there, RBC is going to be there, and Alterna Savings, who is the presenting sponsor. We recently announced we got $250,000 injection from the Inspirit Foundation for our microloan program. So again, I'm looking at you, RBC, I'm looking at you, CIBC. We would love to see more institutions inject capital into organizations that are doing the groundwork and supporting our entrepreneurs. So thank you so much, Warren. And if you're looking for funding for your business, please touch base with me. We do grant sessions to find grants that are available and do applications for it. And we have our own microloan program that disperses between $500 all the way up to $25,000. So thank you again.
All right. Thanks so much, Ryan. And now I'd like to invite Don James calling in from Costa Rica from Publish and Promote.
I was going to pretend it was cold, but I don't have a sweater. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Happy Black History Month. I am so honored to be here. Warren, always a pleasure, and to your crew for creating this beautiful environment for us to connect and uplift each other. How do you want to be remembered? We had some great words from our speakers tonight, Mr. Robert Small and also Mr. Mark Beckles, about the importance of collecting our stories, sharing our stories, controlling our stories. I'm the director of Publish and Promote, and I've had the privilege and honor to work with over 400 writers since 2010, helping them share their story. Tonight, I'm actually here to share a nonprofit initiative called Letter to the Grandchildren. I am calling on our elders to join me. I'm looking for grandparents who would like to take part in Letter to the Grandchildren. I'll be sharing more about it in the breakout room, but in essence, it's important for us to share our stories, our struggles, our achievements, our accomplishments, our dreams. The days of sitting around the kitchen table with mom and dad or grandparents are long gone or few and far between. So it is imperative that we take time to capture our stories so that we can create a bridge for the younger generation and give them a foundation to stand on, give them some education and inspiration. So if you're not able to join me tonight in the breakout room, I'm going to put a link here. It's called lettertothegrandchildren.com. And we are inviting grandparents to share a letter. We're creating a legacy book. It is a nonprofit initiative that is going to benefit the World of Children organization. I'll be sharing more details in the breakout room. In general, I also want to let everyone know, Publish and Promote works with their clients. If you're looking to create a memoir, a biography, your legacy book, we specialize in that. And we also provide education, courses, writing programs. And as Warren mentioned, once a year, we have an annual writers retreat in Costa Rica. This year it will be November, and I'll be sharing that information as well in the breakout room. Warren, a pleasure to be here as always. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much, Don. So just before we open up the breakout rooms, I just wanted to really thank all of our I just wanted to thank all of our presenters, and also wanted to thank all of our sponsors as well. So let me just bring that up. So let's have a big round of applause for all of our presenters. Great lineup. I know it was mostly brothers this time, but last month it was mostly sisters. So we kind of balance things out. And also want to thank our sponsors, Blackboard International, Rasta Fest, Pride Newspaper, Afrotoronto.com, Afro Global, Afro Caribbean Business Networks, Caribbean Black Chamber of Commerce, Canadian Black Chamber of Commerce, CIBC, Caribbean Vibrations, Toronto Caribbean Newspaper, and Nigerian Canadian News. So I'm just going to open up the breakout rooms. We have a number of rooms that are open. So we have HCBN, the Government of Canada with Imanzi, Publish and Promote with Don, and then we added a networking room. I know going a bit over time, but would like to for those of you who would like to stick around to check out the breakout rooms, and also we can take a few questions from the audience for any of the panelists who are able to stick around, or if anyone has any announcements to make, we can also take a few of those. But if just want to really thank everyone for attending tonight. You guys have been a great audience, and without your support, there is no First Friday. So thanks very much, and please feel free to stick around. Check out some of the breakout rooms. If you have any questions, you can put them in the chat. And if you're not able to enter a breakout room on your own, please let me know, and I can add you into whichever breakout room is of interest. So the rooms are all open right now. And also, if you have anything that you would like to share, please feel free to post it in the chat. So I'll open it up for questions. And so, Ryan, you got to get to your breakout room. It's open. Or if anyone has any announcements, you can also raise your hand. All right. So I'd like to call upon Brother Wilson. He's here. He has a program that he's been running. Wilson, if you're able to say a few words about that. If you could start your video.
Okay. Good evening. Sorry I cannot come on the video. My name is Wilson Anoff. I work with IBW Local 353 as an electrician. By the way, happy Black History Month to every one of you guys. And with my program, we basically educate parents about the trades, because we give the parents the tools to basically help their children to basically get the right tools, especially when they're in high school, to take the right courses so that they could get themselves into the apprenticeship programs, the ones that are sponsored by the unions. Because me being in the trade for 18 years, I've noticed in our communities, we have a lot of lack of, information that is not shared on the, we have a lot of, sorry guys, it's just been a long day. In our community, we have a lot of parents that do not really understand what the trades given these other communities. And when I used to do a lot of career days, I noticed that a lot of the white kids will come to my table and they basically will know exactly what you're taking in high school, because from their household, they know that you're going to maybe a plumbing, so they know the classes that they need to do, so that after high school, they go through the apprenticeship program, their intake with the unions always have. But the Black kids will come and they basically don't know much about the trade. So I noticed that the problem was not with the youth. Majority of the time is coming from the household, because majority of the parents are looking for all the youth to become lawyers and accountants and doctors. But Toronto has a big growing numbers of trades, which is really high paid careers. So with my program, that's what we do. I want to kind of keep it short. we basically educate parents about the trades to give them the tools so that when the kids are done high school, they know that, okay, they need a driver license, they need a vehicle to get to work. It's very simple, you know. The program is called Neighborhood Developing Careers. We've been doing this program for numbers of years, but we just basically started a nonprofit and we're looking for grants. So I guess Mr. Ryan Knight, we will look for you when the time comes. But at the moment, we have the union that is supporting us. I really don't want to talk too much. But thanks a lot for the platform, Warren, and hope you guys had good information from me.
Yeah, thanks, Wilson. If you could maybe put your contact info in the chat,
I'll do that.
If anyone would like to follow up with you and connect with you, that would be great. If anyone else has any announcements that they'd like to share, or an event, or if you're looking for a job, you know of a job, or you have a business, or looking for a certain type of business, please feel free to raise your hand or put it in the chat. Next month will be our First Friday's media edition. So we're looking forward to that. We're always looking for presenters. If anyone's interested in presenting, along the lines of one of the themes, just please let us know. You can email events@firstfridays.ca or hit us up through our social media or any of our contact points. Also, remember the CIBC event on the 15th. So stay tuned for more details on that. And actually, so is there anyone else who has any thing they'd like to say or share? All right. Well, I did say I would. I think I'll go through, put Sean's stuff back on, and maybe go through the rest of his artwork for folks to see. Sean, if you want to comment on any of it, please feel free to do so. Okay.
Here we go. Here we are. Hi. Wow, what an inspiring night. Wow. Yeah, these are just the details of some of the work because it's kind of hard to see all the layering with the smaller pictures. And if you want to, you can just keep going through them if you like. And I've actually been starting, I did ceramics years ago in high school, and I just started doing ceramic courses again. And I'm just like, oh, it's like this, that I guess I'm moving closer to sculpture, but it's been super fun doing this. And yeah. And just commissions from clients, businesses, and whatnot over the, last few years.
Yeah, some folks were asking about your website or your contact info.
Yeah.
If you can put that in the chat.
Well, I can put that in the chat. I'll do that now. But yeah, it's like SeanSkier.com. Yeah, and you can reach me at Skier Gallery, at Skier Gallery on Instagram.
Okay.
And yeah, these are just a few of the last commissions I just recently did. Some more details. Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Thank you. I don't know what else I put. I was just going, uploading. This is the Walk-In Celebration, which comes in various colors. It's sort of almost like a take on the, the Andy Warhol kind of thing. You can just place two colors together. And that's the Walk-In Celebration. And some abstract work. I don't know if that was a good day. I do a lot of faces, masks with tagging markers. I did a show at Band a few years ago, and that was the show. I did like, I think 50 faces, and I just put them up on the wall, and it was pretty wonderful. And it was just a new medium. I love experimenting with new mediums and just trying things out. And color is one of my big things. And yeah, and just, these are some larger pieces that I've done. And oh, how did that get there? Yeah.
All right.
Oh, that was an ad I did for Absolute Vodka a few years ago. That was kind of exciting.
Where is it?
Well, this was when Absolute Vodka was connecting with a lot of artists, and I was asked to be part of it.
So which
And
piece is
my work, you see where the W is? It's the work is not, it's a little blurry, but whereas in an absolute world on Broadway, there will be art everywhere. But my work is actually right under the W.
Right in the middle?
What's that?
Right in the middle?
No, see, we're in an absolute world.
Oh, okay, over here.
Right under there. It's very small, but
Okay.
yes, you hit it, right? Yes.
That's great.
And so that was cool. I just found that today. I was like, oh, I forgot about it. I forgot about that. So that was cool.
All right.
But again, thank you, everybody. This was a real pleasure for me. I'm just filled with a lot of joy, and wow.
Well, thanks for coming out, and hopefully
Pleasure.
this will be the first of many.
I hope so. Yeah.
All
Excellent.
right.
Thank you, Warren.
All right. No problem. Thank you. So, folks, once again, if there's no more questions or comments, we'll just, the breakout rooms are open. And that's, so we have, again, ACBN, the Government of Canada, Publish and Promote, and then our newly added networking room, if you'd like to go and connect with some folks. I know things are coming out of lockdown, but we'd like your feedback in terms of should we stay virtual or, go back to face or a combination thereof. So we're still kind of deciding on our next moves, but we appreciate everyone's feedback. So I really want to thank everyone for coming out tonight. You guys have been awesome. I want to thank our presenters, our sponsors, and most of all, I want to thank our audience for coming out. So please enjoy the rest of your Black History Month, and please, stay safe and healthy. So thanks very much. We'll leave the session up, the meeting up for a while if folks want to again check out any of the rooms. So thanks very much, and hope to see you soon.